The concept of something you can't see, terrifying.
Yeah, like you don't even know if it's there or not.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. It could be in the room with you right now. You wouldn't know.
And we're not just talking about, hey, this is something that like is deadly. It could like kill you.
Some people will die. Some people won't.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. So like, you want to watch it or?
What? What are you talking about?
Blumhouse's new Invisible Man?
What? No, I'm talking about the coronavirus.
There's a virus?
What?
So you love and know it's Cannibal Video.
All right, guys, here we are for a very special quarantine edition where we're going to be talking about a movie you could see from home. Yes. The Invisible Man 2020. As everyone is trapped inside, no one's coming to the store, so we figured we would review and talk about something that you can do at your house.
The invisible box on the thing. Yes.
Yeah. So what'd you think about it, this 2020 version?
Ooh, I didn't love it.
Didn't love it.
Did
All
you
right.
love it?
I don't know that I would say I loved it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to like it. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I thought it had some genuine suspense for a movie that I didn't have very high hopes for.
Okay. What did you think going in then? Because maybe
So
that's where I'm
I was
different.
like, okay, Blumhouse is doing The Invisible Man. I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. I think I saw an early trailer for this. I don't have a 100% memory of it. I knew going into it that it was like, oh, it's not the old tale. It's somebody trying to like make someone look like they're crazy or some shit. And that's kind of all I knew going into it. But I was like, there were genuine moments in this where I was like, oh, something's gonna happen right here.
Yeah. No, I think stuff's well done. I didn't love. Okay, we can get into the details once we're into the spoiler section and all that other stuff. I thought it was asking a lot of me in terms of like logic or science. Whatever.
Oh, definitely.
And the payoff was not like worth it for me. It was almost worth it. There are some good stuff in there. I feel like maybe it's a little like bloated. It's like 2 hours long. I feel like there's a 90-minute version of this that's a little tighter and works for me a little better, or a 2-hour version that leans more into some of this, like you're saying, descent into madness territory.
There's definitely ways you could have cut whole parts out and made this movie tighter and better.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of suspension of disbelief, but a movie in general about an invisible man is going to lead to that.
Not a deal breaker,
I do think they did explain things in ways that I was like, okay, that's a twist on it. That's maybe a little better. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. I'll go into all my full details and spoilers, but right now in the non-spoiler section, I'll say I do recommend going to see this if you're trapped in the house.
Going to the living room to see this. Yes.
You have your family all in the living room. It's cheaper than going to the theaters. You're trapped. What else are you gonna do? It's a new movie. I think it's worth watching.
We just say $20 on Amazon. Yeah, I would say that it is worth checking out. I did not love it totally though, and we will get
some
into
good visuals though.
Truly, no, it's like well made, and there's cool moments and cool stuff in it. But there was a point in the movie where I expected to love it eventually, and I never quite got to that point. So yes, but we'll dig into all the details and more in the spoiler section.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, so here we are for the spoilers on The Invisible Man. So let me hear your spoilers thoughts. What were your?
I already gave my like main thing, the main like pitch, which is like I liked moments in this movie. I thought that they were good, but at some point I'm like, is this movie still happening? How fucking long is this movie? Oh my god! Which is not by itself like a deal breaker. I also have moments where I'm like, wait, what the? How does he's good? What he did what? And like that's not a deal breaker either. But it's a lot on both ends to get to that like core that I liked.
So let's go over what were your favorite parts first. Like, what are the things that you liked about the movie?
Oh, I mean, we're probably going to talk about those sequences, right? The invisible, when the man's invisible. And he's doing stuff. I liked that. There's the burning breakfast, I think is a great sequence. It just hangs on that for like a super long time, right? I like filmmaking, artsy-ish, sort of things. What about you? What do you like?
I like one of the things that I liked the best and really disliked is eventually they get into it and she gets a couple of good stabs on the suit and causes some malfunctions. And the suit, while it's glitching in and out, I think are some of the best visuals in the movie. Like, when he's doing things completely invisibly, that's fun. You're like, okay, he's like painted out of this shot, things are happening, whatever. But when you see him glitching out, it almost turns to a different movie where it's like, this is like some weird like demonic looking shit because of what that suit is, like the scale of lenses and like and which is interesting. I don't think it would, like, I don't see how it could work the way it was working.
No, and like,
but I think it's a cool take on it that he's not just an invisible naked dude running around.
Right, he didn't just drink a potion and now he's doing whatever. So like this explains and it like explains a bunch and also brings up new questions. And I thought you of all people would have a field day. So like in my head, I was getting ready to like talk you down off the ledge where you hate this movie, and I'm like, okay, just assume that it would be perfect invisibility, which doesn't make any sense. Even when it's dark. How does that work? Whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Fine. Let's assume it's powered by Tony Stark's like arc reactor or something. And
for how skin tight it was, especially.
And even though it makes a ton of noise sometimes, it is otherwise completely silent.
Yeah.
And he can walk around and not go and like creak on like whatever. We just have to assume all those things, right? But even with those assumptions, I still have some problems. What are you gonna say?
Well, the biggest issues are like when you stab a bunch of things, like it is literally just you are tiled with cameras, and she stabs a bunch of times, and this somehow causes it to glitch, but still work all the way like intermittently. Or like whole sections just stop working. But really, it should be like dead pixels. There should just be like black chunks where she stabbed and broke lenses.
Right. You've never been able to break like individual units or something, right? Which is like,
Yeah, which you would think if I stabbed you in the front, it would lead to a broken one in the front and the back, because the one in the front is projecting what it sees on the back, so that would be projecting nothing, and then you couldn't project onto a broken one, so you would have these patches where you could be seen easily.
To your point, the glitching looks cool.
So the glitching looks very cool.
They just did the glitching.
Yes.
Right? Yes, and I understand that. And there's also a part where it's like, oh, rain, perfect, that's going to work, great. And it kind of, mixed results, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole issues too. Like if he ever walked out in the rain, like he's not like he does then hide under the trunk to be dry.
Yeah.
But does he buff every one of them? There's no things. He gets paint dumped on his head at one point and goes to a sink for like a moment and washes off. I was a painter for a long time, and just to get paint off your hands.
You're still finding paint years later.
It's ridiculous. And this is a like crevice filled. It's thousands of camera lenses.
Yeah, like even if you're gonna say that each of those like hexagons or octagons, whatever, have like a thin sheet that it's like projecting onto, and it's like transparent or something. I don't know how the image projection works or whatever. Even then, no, he's not going to be able to like grab her dirty dish rag and like fuck around in the sink for like 30 seconds. But again, like now we're into nitpicking territory, and I understand that.
But you could have just not had like it could have in place of the I spilled paint. Drop a sheet on him, and then it could have easily been like because you would have known what happened. I think this movie's biggest flaw, though, if you take away all the nitpicky petty things, which I have a lot of, is if you were to just cut out the first like 5 times that he like announces himself to her, and just made it this thing like, is she crazy? Is this really happened? Is it like this and that? And then let the first time it's revealed that she's not crazy be when the brother lawyer goes, he's still alive.
Agree to have the baby. Go back to him.
Blah, blah, of course. And she's like, I fucking knew it. Like, that would have been a much better movie. Because we knew he was around before that, though.
So that's what I'm getting at with the whole, like, there's multiple versions of this movie that I do like. And the one that's like a psychological thriller. Like, when she's escaping, she walks through his room full of Iron Man suits.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh. And then, like, his obituary says, optics, pioneer. And I'm like, oh, so he just has an Invisible Man suit. Like was that even in the trailer? Or is that just like a known thing?
I didn't know about that.
He just has an Invisible Man. I'm like, oh, he must have an invisible. Like she like stops at, I think, at like a like Iron Man holder that has no suit in it, and I'm like, oh, it's an invisible suit.
Yeah.
And so like the whole time I'm like, well, it's an invisible suit, and then there's various points where I'm like, he's in the isolation cell with her, like he has to eat and like piss and stuff. Like he's in very good shape. He's like a tech bro, like superhero type guy.
But like he's not in
what
like
the fuck.
like he's in good shape, in quotes almost.
Movie
where
shape,
like he
yeah.
looks like a skinny kind of dude. Someone that I would be very impressed if he could lift 140 pounds like one or even two-handed the way he did effortlessly throughout this movie.
He's a superhero. So part of me,
I was hoping the suit, they were going to say it augments his strength.
No. Because so part of me, was waiting for that, but I knew that it would never come because in the beginning he punches the car door out.
What is happening?
Like it's nothing. Like
Well, he punches
it's cool.
the glass out, not the door.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, but
Just
like,
in case anyone hadn't seen this and was
just
watching.
punches the thing and like does he's bleeding some, but like there's no sign that he's like broken his hand or like messed it up or anything like that. And that's a movie thing. But then when he lifts her up, and all that stuff,
That's
I'm like,
where it got me.
What's happening?
And he beats up, and I don't know the guy's name, but he was
cop
in
guy?
yes, the
he's
cop who she lives with.
So as far as I'm concerned, you just walked on the moon.
He's great. He
was really good.
He was in Leverage for years.
Okay.
He was in the recent movie he played, Dr. J, or what did he play? I can't remember what the fuck
Strata
his name-
Compton?
Strata
No.
Compton, yeah.
Oh, I was just being racist.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Now, he's great, and
I
like
don't know him from
he's always a
anywhere,
different thing. And he's huge now.
Okay.
Like there's a part where he's like just in like a wife beater. And
you
like
mean swole. Yes.
his tricep or a tricep, is like. Well, I'm like, dude.
he had like a muscle, and then a thing in between the muscles,
Yeah.
like an extra muscle.
No, he's been hitting the gym hardcore. So when he
Exactly.
starts getting beaten up, I'm like, understandably, he can't see the guy hitting
the
him.
advantage,
But
yeah.
I'm like, I still think he'd have won. Like, because like just getting like once you hit once, like because he does like kick a little bit. I'm like he would have a remote idea where he was, and then lay one hammer into that guy, and he would die.
So he's already pretty beaten by this point, but he reaches up and kind of like grabs his arm, I guess. And I was expecting like something to happen and him to be like, oh, whatever.
I love when just invisible dude just hanging out in the room and just punches his daughter, and she's and like it's the perfect time where her head is just low enough that she doesn't know where it came from.
Oh my God. Sydney, are you okay? Why would you just stop?
I thought that was like a powerful scene.
I loved all of that with like him turning everyone like against her and all that stuff. And that's more, I think, to your point, like if we are still thinking that she's crazy and those things are done in a way where it's like, wait, but am I just seeing the story through her crazy eyes? What's going on? But the whole time I'm like, he's an Iron Man thermocampo suit. He's just there. How? What's happening or whatever?
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
And then the fucking knife trick scene, I was just
well,
like,
I love the sister like noticing it, like that face she gives. She's like, what the hell's that? Like the knife floating.
Right.
and just it was how it ended up in her hand and so fluidly. I was like, why did it even have to do that? Because was that not the knife that he had in the baggie that she already touched?
Yes.
It wouldn't have had to leave her actually holding the knife.
Exactly.
You could have just framed her.
And it made it so awkward.
You could have killed her at any time, honestly, and framed her.
It made it so awkward and like weird to me how it like whips around and ends up back in her hand.
What?
And that's when I was like, okay, this is silly, but it's trying to tell a very serious story about this abused chick with PTSD who's like trying to triumph over her gaslighting, like abusive, controlling dude. And yet we have certain scenes that are goofy and weird. The way they look visually.
Really, like from the jump though, you see this house this dude has, and you're like, okay, he's successful as fuck because this house is all windows that just like you can only see ocean. It's such a nice house, but it's also kind of off the beaten path.
Right.
And that dude's like a psychic or something because he wakes up like she has like a minute or 2 minute, 3 minute head start on this guy, and she runs to a random like access road through the woods, and he's like on her like almost instantaneously, and that was my first where I'm like, okay, you're asking some stuff of me, movie. Then an invisible guy shows up and they ask more.
And then it's like, what is a guy who's invisible? What the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. I like the movie, though. I think that glitching suit thing, like, that's the part where I'm like, this is great. I love this. But then there's dumb things where it's like, well, why was he in the attic? Why did he have his cell phone up there? Why did he hide her shit up there? Why do any of that? Why write a will that leaves her money if she doesn't commit a crime? And you're like, what is it? What kind of stipulation is that?
Yeah.
And just to pepper her through these things, like,
No, like, a
couldn't
lot-
you have just made her crazy? Why do that?
Yeah, a lot of it feels weird and like extra or like it just kind of diverts from the whole thing. Like I really liked it being the brother and then he's tied up in his own house like faking that he's whatever, right? That's okay.
No. That would be okay if it made any sense at all.
Yeah.
Why did the police even go to the house to look for him?
Why did the police even go to his house to look? They didn't go to look for him. They went just.
No, they went to the house. Yeah. They went right to that door, that fake wall. Well, they burst it down, and he was right there.
They film you going through like a bunch of stuff, and he's yelling like "Help! I'm here" or something like that.
No, it felt so like that part there. I was like, why are they? What is happening here? Why is this happening?
I think they go there because it's his like brother, and that opens the like investigation of like there's a dude with a crazy suit and there's murders and what's happening, and it's all tied to this guy. I don't know why they go in with like a SWAT team per se, right? It should have just been like an investigation.
That was the whole thing. Like that was the last straw of my like petty shit where I was like, what the fuck was that? Why did that happen? Did I miss something? Was there something that was cut that would have made this a 2.5 hour movie that would have explained that? Just really weird. I do like the brother and him tag teaming and doing things because even at times it would be cool if two of them were doing things at the same time because it would make sense for how some things even happen.
I was hoping for something to happen. Like imagine you take that same concept and kind of invert it, where he's found there. He's alive. He was at the police station. Some invisible shit happens over here, right? And then we as the audience don't even know if he's in on it or not or what's happening or something like that. I think they were attempting something like that, but because the brother dies before you even know that he's ever put a suit on, right? Then what's happening, right?
I think the better play, if I was to rewrite this movie, it would be the whole first half you would think she was crazy.
Yeah.
The second half, though, it would be that the boyfriend is dead. He did kill himself. He's gone. And all the money was left to the girl, and she only doesn't get it if she commits, if like there's these sets of stipulations or whatever, and then he puts on the suit to make her seem crazy, to frame her for a crime,
brother did
so
everything.
that he gets the money.
Right.
Something like that, because with that payoff of her
That's
killing him
what
at
he's
the end,
trying
did
to
you
do,
really
yes.
get anything out of that? Did that help? Did that do anything for you?
If you sign this document and forfeit your share of the trust, it'll be a lot cleaner.
With like her like, haha, I get to watch as you die. I slit your throat because you slit my sister's throat. Like that didn't do anything for me. I wasn't like righteous. We got it.
Did you like the surprise callback thing?
It was okay.
Just like wow, guys. I don't know.
Like I almost would have liked it if he did say like yes. It would be better for me if he did admit it and he did just get arrested. I think that would have been a better play. I get that like I got my justice. You get what eye for an eye. But it didn't do anything for me. It didn't feel impressive or out of the like. I didn't think that's gonna happen. It seemed very color by number.
Like there should be something to that. There should be something like she uses the thing, the like tool or like method that he was using to fuck with her to like triumph over him or something like that. But it doesn't feel like that. And if anything, she's like, I have to go powder my nose. Like, watch the movie and do this. Like as soon as it cuts away from her, she like takes a deep breath, looks in the mirror. Just picture her running down the hallway, entering in the first day they met, putting on the suit, doing the whole thing.
That suit was in the closet still, wasn't it? I thought that was the suit she stole and put into the vent where she had her go bag.
Oh, I have no idea.
That's how. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
I thought that when she was found in his closet, because she stole the suit and she
was there the first time.
Yeah, she put it in the vent, and then he found her. But I don't know if he knew that she had the suit with her in that room, so I don't know if he ever found it in that thing. So I took it as she went to the closet, got the suit, put the suit on, somehow activated it with the iPad she didn't have, and then knew how to use it.
Okay.
So, that's how I took it. So even worse.
No, well, no, there may be more to it, but you're expounding on the point of like she's never used the suit. She doesn't know how the suit works. She doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And she's risking, filming her murder a guy, right? And I feel like the guy is a bad guy and like deserves to die. Whatever, that's fine. But I would have liked more, like, if the whole point is to like turn it against him and like do revenge, have something where like, okay, nobody's here, turn on the poison gas, and he's invisible in there and like can't reveal himself. Like some weird contrived scenario where like him trying to fuck with her seals his fate in some way.
My thing
right?
would have been like when she was first kind of like oh, you're insane, and she was in the thing, and it was the cop she knows and like his partner or the guy who's on the case that let him in the room, whatever.
You're saying that the person who killed your sister is in the room right now, but we can't see him.
And he's like, give me a minute. Like, at that point, she's still been your friend for how long? You'll probably do a little bit to prove something for her. I'd be like, take your belt off. swing it around as you walk around the room.
Right.
Like, you've been my friend for a while. If I was in jail and I have like, Lee, trust me, you've known me for a long time. Just please do this. I think you would do that for me. And like when it hits something, you'd be like, oh my god.
No, and like when she got the coffee ground, ground or something, I was like talcum powder, like something, like ladies have makeup sometimes. I was thinking something like that was gonna happen eventually to like reveal.
Well, I was thinking there was a whole doorway to her right that she didn't have it anywhere. There's a couch that leads to her. I thought she was still gonna get attacked.
Yeah.
Like because she's an idiot.
I thought it was the couch because I think that door might just lead to like the bathroom.
It certainly might.
Yeah,
but
regardless, yes.
I'm sure there's a window in that bathroom. Whatever. I thought she was gonna get surprised.
Yes.
And she didn't. What she just do is leaves the house all a mess, and they come back. There's paint everywhere. This motherfucker.
No, and she was like breaking plates and all that stuff. So like even that could have worked really well had there been more of a confrontation of like you wrecked my house. Because like imagine cop guy coming home and just seeing broken plates, the sinks, the thing, the paint, the mess, the ad.
There's
like,
a part where her
mess,
body was
right?
thrown like at least 6 feet into the air into the wall, and her shoulders like crushed through drywall.
Yes.
I'm like, that would be a hard one to fake on your own.
Exactly.
And just why? Why would you do that?
There was something about it, like the movie wants to go over the top with these things in a way, but I think like it was so close because the actress is really good. She has this look on her
I
face,
liked her. I liked her a lot.
Like, her like destruction and desperation is so good that I was just like, you don't need all this crazy over the top like visual. And maybe you do to like sell the movie, but
it played. And like I don't recognize her from anything, and that could be because she's like such a good actress that whatever role she was in, it didn't click. Like, but I liked her. I would see more things with her. I liked the guy. I liked his daughter in this.
Yeah.
Even the brother I thought was pretty good. The actual lead bad guy, the Invisible Man, you don't see him very much.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I was laughing before as you were saying like she could have got risked getting caught during this murder. It would have been really funny if she came out and like slits his throat and it's just her in the black suit. It's not even on.
It's just off.
But then the cop who was listening comes in. He goes, "All right, we're gonna burn this house down," or like some shit like that.
Yeah.
Just picture that. Surprise! And he's just in the black suit. It's not invisible at all.
It's just lifted off or whatever.
Yeah. How do you turn? There's no buttons.
No, imagine that. He's dying like like clutching his throat, produces like a tiny remote control and goes, dude, and then she pops into like visibility and all that stuff, takes off the helmet and goes, well, surprise, or some shit like that. So I don't know, man. It just feels like not great for some reason.
I also would have liked the dog to attack the Invisible Man at some point because it didn't
Yes.
seem like Zeus cared for him. He liked her.
And he wanted to go with her, yeah.
Yeah, and but he didn't go with her. He just like ran away. It seemed.
Dogs are stupid.
It was a large fence. She couldn't have actually taken him because
Yeah.
she jumped a very large fence.
Right.
To throw him over would have been. But I wanted to see in that second time in the house when the Invisible Guy does show up. I wanted the dog dog hanging on the hand, just like his body wiggling around like some cool shot.
That would have been
like
a very
that.
gratuitous and awesome video.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should talk about the hallway scene, speaking of visuals, though. Because that hallway scene with all the cops.
That is a fantastic scene.
Yes, that file in 2x2 and then don't believe what's happening.
Well,
and
and he doesn't literally kill every one of them.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is your proof right here, lady. It's your smoking gun.
Okay, the actual proof is outside in the rain when a cop sees his like glitched thing, he sees the rain hitting him, he sees a floating gun doing nothing, and then he just walks right by him. So I was like, okay. And the movie, does acknowledge that. The cop dude friend says, we have testimony from people at the medical, the like insane asylum, whatever it's called.
Because I'm pretty sure even the first guy just gets tasered. I don't think he's dead. I think he just passed out.
Exactly. So
and
he
then
should
at
have
least
something
two
too.
other ones didn't get killed in the hallway that also saw either a half glitched like man
or a floating gun or something.
Were
like
attacked
that.
by nothing.
Exactly. So like there's going to be testimony there from at least a few people.
Oh, and there's cameras in that whole hallway. So I would have liked to have seen that angle
footage,
once or twice too.
Yes. So like I like that. One of the cops comes in though and must think that she has psychic powers though, because he's still holding the gun on her.
But is that crazy? If you ran into the situation, is your first thought, oh, there must be an invisible man? You're like, I don't know what it is. I know you're there. I know my friends here are knocked out. This is some fucking elephant lead shit, and you have to die.
I totally get all that, but it still felt goofy to me right in the middle.
Agreed.
To be like, he's like, lady, lay down, and I'm like, what do you think?
There was
happening?
one guy who like turned his head and how he was looking was like as if he was intentionally trying to not see the invisible guy.
There's one shot that I liked where someone's like, he's right, but she says he's right behind you.
Oh, and he glitches perfectly.
And then he turns and is like, I don't see shit, lady, and it's this like like a in and out thing like that. Yeah.
He's right there.
Lay down.
He's right behind you. Listen to me.
Who is?
The glitching there was like I didn't even go like fucking stupid. This is fake glitching bad shit because the scene was fun.
Okay, so it managed to win you over.
It won me over just because it was good visuals. They played off this invisible stuff pretty nice. It was almost like a Daredevil-esque hallway scene with this invisible guy doing his thing.
It's a gauntlet.
It didn't have the technical prowess, but because he was invisible, he was able to do these things, and he's superhumanly strong, just like one-shotting people.
I know.
And always shoots them like casually as an afterthought.
Bang.
Like he's like, all right, knocked you down. I walk 10 feet away just so you can't see me, even though I'm invisible, and I shoot you in the back.
Yes.
That was his thing. Like, and that felt like that, like cocky, like fuck you kind of thing.
Sadistic, weird, and stuff, fucking with people. Yeah, because that's what he's doing. He's professionally fucking with people. So he's got to be
like far too much in the like I thought what you thought would think, and like all those things. I'm like, what?
Do you have an example of that? We should probably get into that sort of thing.
Do I?
He has to know ahead of time. Part of me is still like, so did he ride in the ambulance with her or the cop car? Like, how is he in
there
the
were a lot of
cell
those scenes. It didn't
with
make
her?
sense.
Like, what are you doing?
And how he must have just slipped in as doors were closing constantly. Because you never, and they could have done, where you see like the door like, and then he goes in. Like, you didn't see any of those, really.
Imagine the spooky vibes there.
Yeah.
I also thought there might have been something going on with the brother. Right? Like, imagine the brother's like driving home and then just looks in like the rearview mirror and says something. And you're like, was he talking to his? Oh wait, it would have been this awesome fucking thing.
And you could have done one where he does it and then like taps his ear thing, but then later does it again and he's talking to it.
And you don't realize. Yes. Little things like that, because not that I need the movie. I've said a million times, I don't care if movies like make sense, but the more you're asking me to like go along with, the more I want you to be aware of that and kind of like do something. Because like the brother goes to visit her in the insane asylum thing. Yeah. So that's an awesome point to like transfer who's invisible right now and like what's happening or something, you know. Like,
I do think though, like the attention to detail on like the visual effects, the actual filmmaking here, the acting. Did rise above the like what you could have written on the paper differently issues for me. I think they could have ended up with something that was like, oh, this was ridiculously amazing had they just touched on certain things, cut some fat away, and like leaned into that like, I don't know what's happening here. Like, don't hit me on the head with he's a tech guru with the blah 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 blah. I know. Are we to believe that because it was on the news, wasn't it, that he died? Yeah. So like, what exactly? How did he fake the death? Because there's like the autopsy photo type things, not autopsy, like crime scene photos of him. Yeah. So I was like, okay, are those? Right when I first saw this, I'm like, okay,
the brother,
did he take those? Are those fake?
The brother, the maid, the cops, they're all paid off. They're all in on it, but just for that part and not the other part.
Yeah, it's hard to say because like he's obviously super rich and like he could do things and he could just like change my thing. I'm dead now, something like whatever.
Right? It's some.
But you'd think he would have died like he died in suicide in Costa Rica. Like,
helicopter crash off the coast of southern Sri Lanka.
Not obvious, not here in his house.
Right.
A little strange.
I mean, suicide's probably one of the easiest things to be like, no, closed casket, leave us alone. We don't want to deal with this or something. So there's no investigation. But yeah.
But he runs a huge company, so like there'd always be something.
It's like the first or like one of the early of like many things where if you wanted to. So that's what I mean. Like if you're like a nitpicky person or if you're really into the theme of it or what it's saying or what it's doing or something, I think you'll kind of come up short. But it's well made. It's like fun or whatever. Maybe not fun, but like it's like there's enjoyable stuff.
There were legit moments where like partially out of how it was filmed and partially out of my like, why are you doing this? I felt like legitimate suspense. Like when she was going into the attic, I was like, all right, there's gonna be something you can't see up there for sure. And it actually was below her, but it did come into the thing. How about when she's going to audition for that job, when she like got drugged by the dude and the thing? Yeah. The person auditioning her, he's like a young Christoph Waltz.
Ooh.
Where I was almost like, are they related? Is that his son?
Young Waltz in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like that scene? Or more of the gaslighting, more of the thing? I thought it's weird that all those things are in the attic.
Yes. So again, that's that stuff where if you would have played it out as she's crazy more, those are those great moments where I pass out, I actually have insane problems. Oh, we found you on these drugs. On drugs? I don't take drugs. My things are missing. I'm running out of this and that. I didn't look up what do those drugs do. What are those for?
Diazepam?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, what diazepam?
Well, your blood work showed a very high amount of it. That would definitely explain what happened to you.
Yeah,
I've heard that name before.
I meant to look. I have heard. Yeah, I put it on cakes. That's marzipan. I have heard of it before,
Good.
but I don't know what it's prescribed for or what it actually does.
Yeah, it's one of those drugs that people mention in songs.
Because she had it
sometimes.
originally and
Yeah.
used it to knock him out, and then he used it to knock her out. So I was like, okay, it's something that's freely available.
It's some sort of sedative or anti-anxiety.
Anti-anxiety,
Does
yeah.
this thing, calms you, and she just was super calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting a twist at one point, just because she goes to his house and like knows the codes, and she had turned off the cameras in the beginning. So part of me was like, is it possible that this man is invisible and she's crazy? Could that possibly be a fucking thing in this movie? And I'm like, no, because how could those other things have had like a double meaning? No. And I was just like, whatever, or something like that. But there was a moment where I was like, wait a minute, is this the best movie ever? And it was not.
I like that the best movie for you is about an invisible person and a crazy person.
I want something new and interesting. I want something like you're getting at, really get into more of like, I like a movie where like if you watch it a second time, it's a dramatically different experience. Whereas
yeah, this would not be. This would. I think if I watched this again, I would be like, I found a lot more problems with this movie.
How is he in this room still? Wait a
Yeah.
minute, what's going on? Wait a minute, what's going on? Wait a minute, what's going on? There's steam from the shower. What's going on? Like you would constantly have
even like the part where they foreshadow Mace, and I'm like, well, someone's gonna get maced later. That's just obvious. He gets maced while he's in the young girl's bedroom when he's coming to kill her. Like that's not what Mace would do, especially if you're in like this full bodysuit. It may affect him, but it would 100% affect her.
Yeah.
Mace is very, especially in a confined area, and the amount she sprayed, she should be like, I can't see at all, and maybe he can't see, and they're even now.
Yeah, I don't know how.
That'd actually be funny. You can't see, but the invisible guy can't see either, and you see two people swinging and fighting.
No, it's so like in like an alternate reality, right? It's a great setup for people are not quite sure what they saw during this crazy thing that happened.
Yeah.
Because there was all this mace in the house, right? But I don't care if mace is like real world accurate in a movie. It's often not real world accurate, right? I don't know how the motherfucker sees it in the first place. If he has one way HUD or some weird, I don't know what's going on.
In a
there.
perfect world, like the daughter is an artist or something, and she's not going to design school for clothing. She's going to art school, and she's been working on some things. So there's like paint around the house. Maybe she's doing spray paint stuff, and you can get a cool scene where they'll like she's like exploding like spray paint cans, and like, okay, I can see his left leg, and like there's scenes where he's like hiding that one part of it like behind the couch or something,
Yeah.
like some cool stuff like that. There's a lot of things you can do with an invisible guy.
Absolutely.
Didn't do all of them, but did some.
But you liked it a lot, it sounds like.
I did like it. It was fairly competent as a movie.
Yes.
Blumhouse is very hit or miss lately.
Okay.
A lot of their cheaper things have not been very good. But this was in the mid tier. What was it,
this
like
is not
7 to
cheaper,
14 million, something like
Oh
that?
wow, for that.
I think.
So now I'm more impressed if it was under whatever, if it's like a $10 million
It's
movie.
their like $1-2 million things that are
Yeah.
not really good.
Yeah, and like I know things could be a lot worse, so whatever, or something like that. I thought it was fine, I would say, not like super amazing.
No, sorry, you're not allowed to do that.
But yeah, like my like, closing thoughts on it were like there was the structure for a crazy amazing movie, and they just leaned more into them being like crazy stuff and not showing either her or the audience things to know. Like when she finds the phone, and there's pictures of her sleeping. It's like, well, she couldn't have taken that picture, so obviously, he's there. Like when you see his breath and she doesn't see it, I'm like, okay, now the audience has explicitly told there is a guy there.
Right.
That's a mistake. These are things that happen in the first 30, 40 minutes of the movie that I think you could rip right out because they didn't add anything. They only hurt.
Yeah, I think that this is trying to succeed on you as the audience's suspense at is he there? What's gonna happen? Oh no! Like the whole time. But
I could have that and not know if he
Yes.
does he even exist? Is he in the room?
Right.
Oh, that window just moved. Is it the wind? Is there a cat?
I feel like they were not brave enough to go that much further out and make it like a thing, right? And that might be we want to sell it more or something like that.
Maybe.
Because maybe people might have been pissed off. For the first 40 minutes, I know you can't see him, but he may as well not even. I don't even know. It'd be
Well, because there's too long for me, in a practical world where I have to live, because that's where I'm from, is that you have a moment where this girl has a check for $100,000 at her disposal. She gives away 10, so she has $90,000 left, and the knowledge that there is an invisible dude coming for her.
Right.
She had $90,000 to stop one guy, and that does not seem hard to me. They make They make all kinds of things that just are wet, that stay wet until they're like, like they have the anti-deterrent paint where it's like you just paint it on the wall and like if you touch it, it comes off on you. Like you could paint like a whole room that way. You could put cameras. You could have bought a couple of thermal cameras. You can buy those very cheaply now, especially if you have $90,000. Assuming that this can't be seen with that, you could do simple things like Macaulay Culkin would have done in this situation, where you have tripwire and paint. Maybe buy any weapon.
Bombs made of flour or something to like do a thing or whatever. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of fat to cut, like the Uber ride out of town and back and stuff. And I feel like,
and I was like, is he on the car? Because it took so long for it to leave, and I'm like, well, he's super strong and invisible. He could just be clutching to the top, or as a movie would do, to the bottom somehow.
Yeah, there's so much like that, and I'm not that guy to be like 0 out of 10. Where's the power source for your thing? Do you go into a charger? Does it charge via USB? Is it on the bottom of your foot?
Well, especially if you're going to be in a hospital for potentially weeks at a time.
How long. Yeah.
Like on the elbow is like a fold out 2-prong, and he just like goes into the plug.
He's just chilling by the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a person that like, and I am that person that really nitpicks and needs things to make sense, this doesn't. But I, being that person, still say it's worth watching and a good movie.
So it was good. It was enough to override even your like intense desire nitpick. Yeah. I'm not the opposite, but I'm like much softer. Where I'm like, it's fine. All these problems don't like ruin it for me, but I'm kind of upset at like the much better movies that I could imagine that are sitting right next to this movie and they didn't really like do and stuff. So it's kind of sad to me, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's our thoughts on this. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
He has figured out a way to be invisible.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff